smaller sizes, we run 10,000 hours on them and get rid of them. And then the bigger tractors, we run till our warranty's out, and we never run them past the warranty because they. The lettuce crew did not show up, but it would look a lot like what you just saw on the celery. They'd be doing, it's a piece rate group. Yeah, you can go around that way. So it would look a lot like that, but it's a different crew. It's we call them actually almost like call them a dinosaur looking thing because they're real long. You've seen them driving around where they're probably cutting 30, 40 beds at a time. And sorry about that. This is kind of in a time where we're a little bit slow before we really start tearing out a lot of vegetables, and so we are doing a lot of guys standing around the shop. They're supposed to be working, but that's kind of what you do. You got to make work. You know, you're good men and everything else. There's certain times of the year is real slow, so you do probably 2 months out of the year you don't send them home. At least our crews, we do not send home and go on unemployment. We will make work and rebuilding, and most of them aren't really efficient in the shop. Of course, some of them are, but it's just kind of part of the process. You keep your best men and keep them busy. You don't let them go because someone else might grab them. That's where I was born. My dad built that house in 1950, and then he raised me and my two sisters were raised there, and then I raised my 4 kids there. What's up? Well, you're standing in the furrows, so the furrow's about 8-10 inches deep, so that's made him look like he was a little shorter than normal. We also are in the medjool date business. Right at this point, a starting scale. We started about 5, 6, 7 years ago, and these were the initial trees, and then we've taken shoots from them and continuing to plant. Now we've got about 25 acres of medjool dates, and we're getting ready to expand into another 20 acres. The more acres you end up with, and the more shoots, so you can expand a little bit faster after you get a few more trees. Well, the dates, we don't take a lot. They take more water than you would think, because you think of a date being in the middle of the Sierra Desert, and but the reason that date's there is because he's sitting on a water source is why he's growing there. And but dates do take quite a bit of water, especially when they're young, and but we do not fertilize them hardly at all. In fact, most of our dates we just use compost on them, and they'll be they're in the process of being organic. You see these in the celery business, they transfer these loads on these small caterpillars and take everything out there, because it is so wet that if they tried to do it a different way, they would really sink and just make a disaster of a mess out there. So this is a way of not tearing up the fields as bad as we haven't had any rain or anything for a while, and so actually this is pretty. I could show you pictures of other harvest fields that it's just a mess. So we're yielding around 1,250 to 1,300 cartons an acre there. And right now we're selling it at the low packing. A week ago it was 14 bucks, but Florida kicked in last week also. And if you want, we're a little early to go to, no, we're fine to go to the gym. Just go out toward Glacier to the gym. Yeah, just go to 95 and then. Tractors you see that are working there now, that lot of ground is being prepared for wheat. We'll have wheat planted in those fields probably by, it could be even as Saturday we could have water running there. We usually start harvesting around the first part of June. So that's the stuff we're planting right now. Most of the time it'll harvest between 1st of June and the 15th of June. And we plant it in, pretty much most of my wheat is planted in January. It didn't seem to make a lot of difference if you plant it later. It still harvests close to the same time. Yeah, it just doesn't, you don't get near the head size or anything, so it pretty much comes together and is the main wheat harvest here is from the 1st of June to the end of June, around the 4th of July. That truck is coming around to, probably going to come in on this road where he can circle out here by the Artisan. Some of these, they put them in reefer vans depending on the product. Some of them they just are packed and then taken straight. But in the situation with spring mix, spinach and that, a lot of times you'll see it go into a reefer van because it might be sitting at the end of the field for, you know, it's not a real, they don't fill the trucks that fast, so that's a way of keeping it fresh.
Do you ever go on vacation?
Oh yeah. I go hunting. I go to Wyoming every year hunting for a week, and I go usually fishing for a week to Mexico, and then most of the other trips are shorter, weekend type things. They work 6, sometimes 7.
How many acres do you have here?
Yeah, during the wintertime we farm about 5,000 acres. In the summertime we farm close to 6. Pardon me? Oh, it's about a 5-year deal before you get a few dates. You know, you'll get a few earlier than that, but depends on, you know, a date shoot. As you plant it, it then develops shoots that grow around it, and the more shoots that you just let grow there, pull from the tree. So if you kind of keep that a number of shoots around the base of that tree to 4 or so, you know, won't pull the tree down. I was doing it all myself and not doing a very good job, so I hired a guy that really knows dates, and so my trees look a lot better in a short period of time. My uncle, in a roundabout way, ended up getting me in the dates deals. He sold me those dates that go in around there, and then he had too many shoots, so I gave him a little piece of ground to plant them on it, and then he passed away, and so I am in the date business now. But that date business has really grown, as you can see in Yuma, and we do produce probably, I mean, I've ate other dates. I'm kind of grew up in my grandmother, everything she cooked, she put a date in. So it was almost a family joke about as the turkey got dates in it too, and but our jewel dates that grown here are really fantastic. I take them hunting with me instead of a 5-hour energy drink. Just eat 2 dates. That usually does the trick. especially if you dip them in chocolate. Right, yeah. Yeah, some of them, I'm sure you've seen them where they take the pit out and then they press a pecan in the bottom of it and then dip it in either white, dark, or brown chocolate. So, pretty good. I'll do a little sales pitch. Best date shake in Yuma is Martha's Date Garden, and we'll go by that. And there ain't a much sweeter person than Martha either. She's a good girl.
There, yes.
And that's who I grew up with, Martha's husband. We were buddies from since we were born, really. And but he's built if you haven't been out there, it's just quite an operation that he's put up there on the mesa there on 9E of the way the date orchards lay out and so forth. And I market our dates through Martha's Date Garden. He's got some more ground there that he's fixing to, we're going to do some dirt moving for him, and he's going to plant some more shoots. And then we're going to take some of his shoots and take them to the Roll Welton area, or more of the Roll area, and then we're going to plant some of more dates with his shoots out that way too. Most all this ground on both sides right here actually was organic, and so it's very seldom do you see what happened there. That was with the Tanner Murnell company, and we used to farm all this, and then when they went organic, and then been up organic till about 2 years ago, and they were partners in a large organic deal, and then they were ended up selling out, and so part of the deal they could no longer they had a 5-year no competition clause in there, so they actually let that ground go back to conventional. So you don't see that very often, especially after you go through a 3-year period of getting it licensed. So it's now back to being conventional.
The sheep. Talk about the sheep.
Sheep, they give me 30 cents a day for each one out there to eat my hay. Putting up winter hay is sometimes not very fun because of the weather situation. Of course, the minute I put the sheep in there, the weather's been dry and very conducive to putting up really nice winter hay. And so I'm getting 30 cents a head, and you can sell good hay for about $2.15 a ton right now. Another smart business move. Right, sometimes I have more than my share.